Hi guys, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we've got the Pocket Cleaver by GearBest Firebird, the F7551. On the blade itself, they just say F755. You need to add the 1 if you're at GearBest looking for it on their website. 1 stands for satin blade. I do not know if they're coming out with a coated blade or not, or a stonewash blade, but we've got I think this is one of the first, they've got a couple out now, unique knives by Ganzo. That is Ganzo producing their own knives in-house instead of just copying other knives and making, their own versions of it. Unless I'm wrong. If you've seen this knife, I know that there's other folding cleavers out there, but if you've seen this knife with this shape handle, very much the same kind of blade shape with the same forward choil, same kind of jimping up here, or very similar, like extremely similar. I know everybody can find knives that are somewhat similar. That's just the nature of knives. But if you can find something extremely similar, please let me know in the comments below or email me at CanadianCuttingEdge@gmail.com. But right now we're looking at another Chinese knife, 440C stainless steel, G10 handle scales. You've got a bit of a backspacer, and you can get this same knife in a G10 with a carbon fiber laminate on top. And right now you've got it in the carbon fiber orange, a military dark green kind of color, and black. Hopefully they'll come out with some more colors soon, and I hope Ganzo starts changing up some of the stuff that they're doing with G10. They did on this one a little bit with some milling. Well, I'll tell you that a little bit later, but I'm really hoping that they come out with more different colors. If they start doing more knives with wooden handle scales like they did about 16, 18 months ago, they had quite a few, and lately just none. More variety is what Ganzo needs, although this is a very good step in the right direction. By the way, this is the beginning of the month. This is the first video in January, coming out January 2nd. My Patreon supporters, thank you very much for being out there. I will be producing a video telling you who has won the knives and which knives that's going to be. Hopefully I'll get that out by Wednesday, maybe Thursday. It just depends on how busy I'm getting. My wife is off work this week. She works in the school industry, public schooling, and they're off this week, so she wants to get around and do some stuff. And I like spending time with my wife. We just had our 29th wedding anniversary. So this is our 30th year together. So yeah, I'll spend a little bit of time with her this week. Might not have quite as many videos. But now I'm babbling on. Let's get to this review. Well, I'm recording this on New Year's Day. And take a look at my fingers. You can clearly see that this guy is still swollen up. That's where I cut myself. Sorry that it looks pretty bad, but it's a little less than half the size that it was. So the skin's been growing in there, and it's healing up, and can bend my finger quite well. It's a little bit stiff, a little bit from the inflammation still. So those of you who are concerned about my finger, there you go. Not too bad at all. This cleaver, I like this knife. Oh, we've got some, did I melt that or something? Well, let's fix that. Ta-da! Fixed. So now you don't have to look at that little problem. This is an interesting little knife. Let's take a look at this knife. It's the 755. I do like that they're putting the writing nice and small on their knife now. Fire is thick, bold letters, and then bird is thinner letters. Firebird knife made by Ganzo, F755, 440C. I like that. It's nice and small. Now I wish they would just put it in this little space here on the ricasso instead of out here on the blade. The other side has just got the Ganzo logo, the Firebird logo actually, of the those flames. That to me just seems to look like a dove. Every time I look at it, I see a dove instead of flames. Oh well. That's a dove is a bird, Firebird. Hey, maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know. So we've got a cleaver. We've got a odd-shaped hole over here. We've got a nice thick blade this way. Oh, I need to measure that so that I can give you that measurement later on in the video. So you got a nice heavy cleaver style, full flat grind, and then you've got a sneak up choil right here. So you can get your index finger right in there if you're going to do some delicate cutting, or you can hold it back here, and it holds this way quite well. I've got large hands that border on extra large, and you see that the handle just shows up at the end here. So somebody with really large hands, I guess you can hold it this way and have your small finger come back here. But then you're always sneaking up. You might want to use this for chopping every once in a while. I have been wanting to get into some more knives so that I can review them for you guys that are good for cutting. Like if you're going to go camping and stuff. I wonder about this knife, if it is a good camp kitchen knife, for food prep while you're out, doing your camping and stuff. Maybe you might want to consider it for that purpose. That's totally up to you guys. We've got some nice jimping back here with the thumb riser. The jimping is nice and gentle, and yet it's functional. I don't like jimping that's too aggressive. And then back here on the liners, you've got some more jimping right there, which again is quite subtle, but it does give you a little bit extra purchase, and that's a good thing. And then you've got this handle that's swollen in the middle and then comes thin at the butt end again. And then they've milled out these, dots and vertical lines in here. And those give you a little bit extra purchase as well. When you're grabbing it, your hands dig into it a little bit. I can't grab tight with my finger yet because it just hurts a little bit if I grab too tight, but it's very comfortable. I've moved the thumb I'm still doing it in 2018. This is my nice thumb stud right here. Pocket clip. I've tried the pocket clip on both sides. It doesn't get hot in either of my hands. Maybe from some extended use, it does a little bit. My middle finger right here gets it right on the end of the spoon part of the pocket clip right there when I've been working on it for a while in my left hand. And that's if I have the right clip on, but holding it in my left hand. If I keep it left clip in left hand, no hot at all. And right clip in right hand, no hot at all. So it's just if I leave this on the right side, but carry it in my left hand. So there you go. So it's a nice big swell back here that fits in the palm of the hand very well. It's just very suitable for that. It's just a very nice shape. I really like it that way. Nice smooth edges. One thing that they did that I haven't seen very often at Ganzo is look at this chamfering here for the finger choil. That's quite a bit of chamfering that they did, and I really like that. That's not only so that it's easy to flip out the thumb stud, and it is very easy to flip this knife. I can open and close it just with one hand if I want to. Okay, there we go. So that works very well, and deploying the blade works very well. And that chamfering there also helps when you've got your finger around it and you just grab it for some good purchase. Good job on you, Ganzo. Otherwise, the texture is quite large. This sort of checker kind of texture that's typical on G10. It's not the really fine stuff. It's nice and large. It's got a really good amount of grip to it. Not so much that it's bothersome, and not so little that it's not helpful. So that's good. They've got the blue anodized hardware still, but they've got the back to the old simple style screws. They don't strip out as easily as those ones that were flat that they had for a while. And then you've got your G-lock here, or axis lock, and it's shorter than the early ones were in the G700 series. The F series, has this opening a little bit smaller. It's plenty big enough for a good knife. And then let's talk about the amount of engagement that this barrel goes over the tang of the blade. And you can see it right there. You can see the amount of, it's a little bit dirty on the tang of the blade. It's about 2.5 millimeters, and that's really good. So that's how far this bar goes up over the tang. Very solid. I did a spine whack test with a board off camera. I don't like doing them on camera. It's not recommended to do that with your knife. If you do it wrong, if you got your hands wrapped around here, it is a risk of hurting yourself. But it just stayed solid. It didn't close at all. It didn't move at all. And it stayed rock solid the whole time. It didn't come loose. So blade is tight right to left. There's no blade play up and down, back and forth, nothing. And this access lock works exactly like you want it to work. Before we get ahead of ourselves, let me show you a picture of the inside of this knife. And so in that picture, you saw that we've got phosphor bronze and white nylon washers, and we've got skeletonizing in the liners. And let's talk about the different size specs and weight and everything right now, because I think you're going to like some of that information. Let's zoom in a bit for that. We've got a cutting edge of 7.55 centimeters. That's 2.97 inches. So basically a 3-inch cutting edge. Blade length, so tip of the blade to the closest spot I can get to on the handle, 8.48 centimeters. That's 3.34 inches, so 3 1/3 inches. The blade thickness, and I measured just behind the thumb studs right here, 3.13 centimeters. Millimeters. If it was centimeters, that would be huge. 3.13 millimeters, and that is 0.123 inches. And the thickness behind the grind. And now we come to something that's a little problematic on this knife. And that's because we've got the full height of the knife right here. So the full height of the knife right there is 3.3 centimeters, which is 1.3 inches. And back here, we've got 1.16 inches, which is 2.9 centimeters, 2.96 centimeters. And the reason that's important is this angle of the bevel here is the same all the way across. So that means if you start with the same thickness here as you do here, by the time you get to here, it's still thicker. And by the time you get to here, it's thinner. So we've got a nice thickness behind the grind here and a poor thickness behind the grind here. So take a look at that across the blade. Let's give you those measurements. So right here at the tip of the blade, it's 0.43 millimeters thick. That's 0.017 inches. Right here at the heel of the blade, it's 0.79 millimeters, which is 0.031 inches. And right about in the middle, it's 0.55 millimeters, which is 0.0215. That means from the apex of the belly to the tip of the blade, I like how thick the final bevel is there, the final grind is. It's a very good slicer. It cuts very well there. But on the heel end here, it's thicker. So once you get past that final grind, you end up having almost a millimeter thick steel right behind it, which makes it not as good of a slicer. So, hey, you have to live with what you buy, and this is probably what you're going to get when you get yours. I will be getting a second one of these because I want to see if you've got the same condition happening in the second one, but I can't wait 4 weeks to do this review because I haven't bought it yet. And, it takes about 3 weeks, 3.5, sometimes 4 weeks to get here. So I'll let you know when the second one comes in, either on Facebook, or I will put it into a comment on this video or in the video description area to let you know if the second one has that same kind of issue. Let's talk about the handle now. The handle length is 11.45 centimeters. That's 4.5 inches. And then the grip area right here is 9.12 centimeters. That's 3.59 inches. The handle thickness, not counting the pocket clip, is almost exactly 1/2 inch, just a little bit more. That's 12.8 millimeters, 0.506 inches. And the total length of this knife open is 19.99 centimeters. And 19.99 centimeters is 7.87 inches. Now for the weight. So the skeletonizing is a good thing, and yet you've got this big chunk of steel this way, and they got it down to 119 grams, which is 4.15 ounces. So just over 4 ounces for a full-size folder. Not bad at all. Ganzo, I say home run for getting the weight very, very good. Though, is the whole knife a home run? Maybe, maybe not. let's keep talking about it. How much does this knife cost? Well, you can get it in a carbon fiber version. So that's G10 with a layer of carbon fiber on top. And it's also got a layer of carbon fiber on the inside, just the way they make them. The carbon fiber ones cost a little bit more. I'll give you the price for the G10 versions. Right now, I think they're about 15% off or something, but there's no date on it, so that's probably going to be ongoing for quite a while. $18.73 US, plus $1.95 shipping. Canadian, $24.26, plus $2.53 shipping. Euros, 16.09, plus 1.67 shipping. And pound sterling, it's 14.17, plus 1.48 for shipping. And at GearBest, they knock the shipping down per item if you buy more than one. And it doesn't have to be more than one of the same item. It's just if you buy more than one item that has shipping attached to it. They start to knock it down to keep it fair. They don't just tack on all the shipping and add it together. And so I really like the way they do that for the shipping. Would I rather have free shipping? Of course, we all would, wouldn't we? But adding $1 or $2 for shipping, not a big deal. So there's the price. So for the price, hey, that's pretty good. Fit and finish. I think the fit and finish is very good. Not quite excellent, but very good. We've got a nice backspacer that I didn't talk about before. So it's got some jimping on it. So that works for different kind of grips, but it's a cleaver. So, you know, what other grips are you going to want to use? You know, there's not an awful lot of grips that you're going to want to do with a cleaver. At least I don't think you will. There's basically your main grip like this, and then there's that sneak up grip like this. And the sneak up grip is very comfortable for doing some more delicate work. I like the jimping here, as I said earlier. I put most of my thumb on it, a little bit forward, and that nice deep forward choil works very, very well. It's nice, comfortable, effective grip. Really like it a lot. And that grip is very good too. So it's good for chopping. And when you chop, it ends up chopping right around where it's 0.5 millimeter thick, which is the target for a lot of knives. So let's talk about some more of the details here. There's a couple little features that are really good where Ganzo is moving forward very, very well. Look at this. Here's where the pocket clip goes. You've got 1, 2, hey, the third hole is a screw that uses to hold the backspacer in place. That's very, very good. Usually what they've been doing is you'll find the 3 holes for the pocket clip, and then very close by you'll have the screw that holds the body of the knife together. So I've been suggesting it to them for quite a while. Why don't you integrate one of those screws to do double duty, and then you've got more freedom to put the pocket clip closer to the end or wherever. Otherwise, they would have to move the pocket clip down this way. So I like that. Lanyard hole placement. If you like lanyards, that hole placement is perfect. Nice thin end, works very good in hand. The shape of the handle is very good, feels great, doesn't get hot too fast. Lockup is solid, I talked about that. I really like a full flat grind. You have to have that on a cleaver or a kitchen knife, so that's good. The weight is excellent, like I said already. Very comfortable handle. The handle shaping is really good. What are the cons? Well, I think they could have gone with a larger blade. I really am perplexed. I'm not sure if I would rather have no forward choil at all and have a blade that comes back further, because we've got all this space here where we can't cut with. So we've got a big ricasso here, and then we've got the plunge that comes down. If we had it the other way around and had, the plunge start right at the edge, we could have an extra centimeter of cutting edge on here. Instead of 3 inches, we could have a blade that is, 3.5 inches easily. So now let's take a look at what it's like in the pocket, and then we'll do some cut tests. So in the pocket, there you go. So you've got some space here from the end of the seam of the pocket to where the blade is. Not that much space wasted. And I hit my light there with my hand. So there it sits in the pocket. Not bad. You can see a little bit of blade there, but it's not a big deal. And what do we have sticking out of the pocket? Well, we have, let me close this off here. We've got 0.6 of an inch sticking out of the pocket. So just over ½ an inch, which is about 1.5 centimeters. Not bad at all. This spoon on the bottom here works really good. Gives you just the right kind of grip without getting in the way. And it goes up and over the seam of the edge of your pocket very, very well. It's a, good pocket clip. And I like that it's, tip up and right left choice. Not bad at all. I've sharpened this myself on my own sharpening system. Let's see how well it cuts. Pretty good. I did a very fast sharpening. Stropping really does make a difference, and that would make this a whole lot better. But, you can see that it cuts pretty good there. Let me get out one of these USB cables. Those of us who've had computers for a long time end up having some of these or other kind of technology. We have these proprietary things. So here's a cable that's got a proprietary end on it. So chop it off. That's without having to swing too hard because, it's pretty small. And I'm going to have to take a break now because my wife has brought me some lunch. Yum, yum. So there you go. I was just at the point of summarizing the ending of this video. We've got a nice knife that looks nice, feels good in the hand, solid, but not perfect. It's totally up to you if you want to get one or not, of course, like it always is. Do I recommend this knife? I think so. I don't give it a crazy high recommendation, but if you're looking for something like this, there aren't that many knives, cleaver knives, folders that are out there. And certainly there aren't very many that are in the budget category that have reasonable quality. It's a very good knife. The only thing that kept holding me back is that thickness behind the grind. But I believe that probably the more I use this knife, the less that's going to bother me, because the tip of this knife actually starts off thinner than most Ganzo knives. And then it comes here in the middle to the average thickness of Ganzo. And so it's just this last bit here that I don't like that awful much. Could it be better? Certainly. Could it be worse? Oh, easily it could be worse. This is a good knife at a good price. So there you go. I've got links in the description below if you want to buy one of these. Thank you so much for checking that out. Thanks for watching my first video of the year. Thanks for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. And remember, always cut towards, your chum. That's an old English word for friend, buddy, pal. Cut towards your chum and not your thumb. And not that other finger either. Till next time, Happy New Year, and 2018 is going to be awesome. Bye now.